Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Veggie Veteran again. So today we are going to be making one of my most favorite things, and I eat this almost daily, and this is sourdough bread. I know sourdough bread can be really daunting for a lot of people. Believe it or not, it took me a few years to kind of get this down, but now that I've gotten it down, it's super easy. It doesn't really take all that much time, so today we're going to cover it. All right, so today we've got some of our water. We're going to do 310 grams of water. We're going to do 200 grams of our leaven, and we're going to do another video on how to make your leaven and how to make your starter. We got 400 grams of all-purpose flour. We're going to do 50 grams of whole wheat and 12 grams of salt. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to weigh. When it comes down to bread, weighing is always the best way to go. It's going to be more accurate, and you're going to just end up with the better product. So we're looking for 400 grams. So I've got a scale right underneath here. So let's see where we're at. Oh, got a little too much in there. All right, so there's 400 grams of all-purpose flour. Now, whole wheat, you can use really any whole wheat that you want. I grind my own wheat. So this is ground whole wheat, and I'll show you. This is one of the favorite companies that I like to get mine from. It is Palos brand. And this is a hard red winter wheat that I have. I also get a hard white winter wheat. I get a lot of varying seeds from them, and those are just the actual seeds. And then I take a grinder and I grind them up and make my own wheat flour. So we're going to put in 50 grams of this guy right here. All right, there's our 50 grams of wheat flour. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do 12 grams of salt. Now, my salt, I use Himalayan salt, and then I do the same thing. I like to grind my salt down to varying different degrees. This right here is a powder, so I almost powderize it. I find that the powder works really great in breads and a lot of other different ingredients because it's just so small and fine that you don't end up with like big salt chunks inside of it. But you guys can use whatever salt you like to use. All right, and there's 12 grams, maybe a little more. I like it a little bit more on the salt side. All right, then we've got 310 grams of water. This water right here has been warmed up to exactly 92 degrees. You want to make sure you check your water. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it too cold. It's going to help that yeast. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset our scale here, and we're going to do 310 grams. All right, look at that. That was almost a perfect pour. 310 grams. And then we're going to put our leaven. It's 200 grams of our leaven, and the leaven that I use right here, you can see how nice and bubbly that is. This has been sitting since overnight. I take my starter, and it's a really easy process. You're going to take 25 grams of your starter. You're going to take 100 grams of water and 100 grams of all-purpose flour, and you're going to mix that in the night before. You're going to put that off to the side and let it set. And you can see that this guy is like full on up. Typically, you might have a little bit left over. I've almost weighed, this usually typically weighs right about 200, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'm not super worried about the weight of this too much. I know that this is going to be pretty close to what I need. So we're just going to add all of it in. A little bit too much leaven isn't going to hurt. That yeast is just going to make everything happy. And that's about as simple as it gets right there. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's get this scale out of the way, is we're just going to do a quick simple mix. And about this point, we're probably going to want to go ahead and mix the rest by hand. So I've got a little bit of water right here that I'll dip my hand into. And then we're going to go ahead and get on in here and really at this point, we're not trying to make a really glutinous dough, because through this process, it's going to take care of itself. Okay, so really all we want is just a nice shag, and we want to get everything kind of incorporated together, make sure that salt is in there, and make sure most of all that dry stuff is there. And then we're just going to go ahead and clean off the hands. All right, and that's about what we're looking for right there. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up, and then we're going to let this sit for 30 minutes. And then I'll see you in another 30 minutes. All right, everybody, we're 30 minutes back, and here we go. We've got our dough, and this is just a simple part. All you're going to do, you're going to take, I've got a big tub of water right here. You're going to dip your hand right in this water. You're going to take one side of it, and you're going to do a stretch and fold. And then go ahead and just dip your water, hand in the water again. And we're going to do another stretch and fold, and we'll turn it. And this is pretty much all you're going to do. This is, you don't need to knead it, you don't need to beat it, you just got to fold it. Okay, not anything complicated. We're going to go around and grab these corners one more time, grab these edges, and just grab it in the underneath, get a nice pull, stretch, and fold. Okay. If you're noticing it sticking to your hands, that's okay. It means you're not getting your hands wet enough. Just get a little more water on your hands. We're going to do this again. Stretch and fold. Do a little shake and stretch and fold. Okay, that's it for that one. So what we're going to do, let me rinse off my hand here. We're going to cover it back up. I always use plastic wrap. I know I didn't mention this earlier, but you can cover it with plastic wrap or a towel. I actually cover it with both. So cover that up, get that towel, and let's stick it back in a nice warm spot. And we're going to do this again another 30 minutes. And we're going to do this at least 2 more times of just 30 minutes of stretching and pulling. So I'll see you in another 30 minutes. All right, we're back with 30 more minutes in, and we're going to do another stretch and fold. And if you'll notice, look at how good that's looking. Barely even had to do any kneading, and it's already getting all soft and mixed together. This is actually called the amylase process. And we're just letting the yeast and the dough do what it's supposed to do. And it is just loving that dough, coming together, building some gluten. And that's what we're doing right now. We're just getting these, we're stretching and folding. Look at how much smoother that looks. You remember that earlier one, it was all shaggy. And all we've had to do is just let it sit. That's all we got to do. And some stretching and folding. Look at that. Like I said, this is just some water. Just dipping my hands in, getting my hand all wet, grabbing a handful. and just stretching and folding. That's all we're doing. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip it over here real quick. All right, and there we go. That's another stretch and fold process right there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do one more of those today. We'll cover this back up. All right, and I'll see you guys in another 30 minutes. All right, everybody, we're back. So we've done our 3 30-minute stretch and flips. And once we do those stretches, what we do is we're going to leave that covered and we're going to do the bulk fermentation. Okay, and that bulk fermentation, you're going to have it sit for at least an hour. This one today has been sitting here for probably about 2.5 hours. So you can go ahead and you can take a look at how big and bulky it's gotten. It's nice and smooth. Looks just like a fantastic dough. So before we get ready to shape our dough, we're going to do a couple things here. First, we've got some proofing baskets and they are nice and floured up, ready for us to go. I'm going to go ahead and get my jalapenos cut and we're going to get these chopped because today I'm going to be making some jalapeno cheddar sourdough bread. I really love sourdough with jalapenos, and I'm using cheddar cheese today. Sometimes I'll use different cheese. I also like to make a lot of different varieties. I'll do Parmesan with some rosemary and a variety of other different styles. And we'll cover some more sourdoughs in some future episodes, I'm sure. So we're going to go ahead and de-seed these. So I've got a glove on because I have learned my lesson when it comes to jalapenos. Some can be super spicy, some not so much. And man, they will burn if you do not keep your hands clean. So make sure we protect ourselves. We'll move this cheese out of the way, and then what we're going to do is just kind of get these nice and chopped up. That's what we're looking for, is just some we don't really want any big chunks of jalapeno. If you want big chunks, you know, cut it however you want to cut it. I like having really fine chopped up pieces of jalapeno so they really scatter in throughout the bread as it rises and proofs. So that should be good for us there. Let me grab my all right, there we go. Now let's go ahead and get the rest of this trash out of here. And gloves off. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this knife out of the way. And we'll put the cheese off to the side. We'll use you just in a second. So we're going to get a nice silicone mat set up here real quick. All right, so we've got our mat, and we're going to go ahead and make sure we flour this really well. All right, let's go ahead and grab our dough. Look at that. That looks really good. All right, look at that dough today. That looks fantastic. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get a little flour over the top too. Get our hands nice and floured up. And we'll get our jalapenos close. We'll get our cheddar cheese nice and close too. All right, now essentially this is just going to be a fairly simple stretch of each side, and we're going to fold and fold. And through this process, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sprinkle some jalapenos throughout the inside here real quick. And then we'll grab a little pinch of cheese. Try to get that spread out evenly. Okay. Now you're going to want to make sure your hands are nice and floured when you do this so we can get our sides really well. And really what you're going to do is we're going to do a pull. You can see I pull, and then we're going to fold. You need to do that. If there's a lot of extra flour on the outside, just dust it off. It's no big deal. Okay. And in each fold, we're going to add a little bit more. Okay, get our hands nice and dry, get it floured up, and we're going to go ahead and grab this other side. And we're going to do the same thing, just a nice little, you don't got to pull it big, just a nice pull and fold. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay.
And basically like and subscribe at the end of the video. I forgot that. You guys know that the other video, my friend said it, but make sure that watch this video again.
Good job. Okay, so we're almost done. We're going to go ahead and do that again. You heard my little man, so don't forget, like and subscribe. All right, so we've got that fold nice, dust off a little bit of flour. We'll put just a little bit more jalapeno, a little bit more cheese. And then we're gonna grab our last piece here. Do the same thing and fold it over. All right, and then that's just about our shape right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pinch up the ends. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it into our proofing bin, and sometimes there we go. Look at that, got it. And then we're just going to make sure there's no open ends on it. Make sure we pinch everything shut. Sometimes I like to pull along the side just a little bit, get it pulled up. Get it all kind of tucked in, and then pinch it all together. Once again, flour's your friend in this, so make sure you've got plenty of flour that you can grab into. And look, there we go. There is our proofing. So now we're going to let this set for another at least hour, okay? And we want it to do is puff up really nice and big. All right, so while those loaves are proofing in our baskets, what we're going to do now is preheat the oven. And we want to preheat the oven to 500 degrees. And I like to use a cast iron. As you can see, this guy has been used a lot for bread. This is primarily my bread one right now. And once the oven preheats, we're going to stick this guy in there, and he's going to warm up for at least 45 minutes. And once we get it up to 45 minutes and it's in there, what we're going to do is stick one of our loaves in. And I've got some cut out parchment paper here ready to go for that. And then I've got a little tub of some cornmeal that I'm going to sprinkle on the bottom. And that will make sure that it doesn't stick to the parchment paper. All right, everybody. So we've got our proof dough, and as you can see, look at that. That is just beautiful. Nice and rise, just barely above the top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some cornmeal, and we're gonna just give a nice good sprinkling around the bottom here. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna carefully flip this guy right over there, just like that. And then some people will score this, and you can do it in different ways, but we need to make sure that we cut either with scissors or a knife. Some people use a straight razor. Typically for me, I've got a 5-year-old. I don't really like straight razors running around. So I use a couple scissors right here. And typically what I'll do is I'll just come in and just make some nice, good cuts into this dough. Just like that. And that's about as easy as that gets right there. And then what we'll do is I've got a pad right here. And at this point, you should have had your cast iron in the oven now for about 45 minutes. You want that cast iron heat up really good. And so let me grab some. I'll grab some mitts right here. All right, and that is very hot. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna, nice and easy, and boop, we're gonna just plop that in just like that. And then once you do that, we're gonna stick this in the oven. We're going to reduce the oven from 500 to 485. And then we're going to go ahead and cook this first part with the lid on for 18 minutes at 485. Our 18 minutes are up. And we're going to go ahead and take that off. Now, this is the time right here. You can already see that that bread is looking amazing. And now this is where we put a little bit more cheese on the top. Get it nice and... All right, and so we're gonna put some cheese on that. And then we're gonna push that back in. And then we're gonna lower the oven down to 465 for 25 minutes. And there's our sourdough bread right out of the oven. There we go. Look at that. All right, and here's our final loaf. So I've got 2 of these, and if you guys have not tried this company right here, they are fantastic. I'm not sponsored in any way by them, but this bag is great for freezing them. And I have never had a problem with these, and I can fit at least 2 loaves of my sourdough inside of this massive bag. So you can see how much, I've got plenty of space in there. And there we go. That's going to go into the freezer. And then this guy is going to be for us tomorrow. Okay, and here we are. It's the next day, and here is our delicious loaf. We're going to check it out. Let's see what we got. Look at that. There you go. Delicious. Today I'm gonna make a sandwich for myself. And there we have it. Delicious. All right, well, I just want to thank everybody for checking out my sourdough video. And please, if you haven't yet, please subscribe and like.